Want a happy, healthy relationship? Make sure you have 4 things in your corner. Do you have them? Find out on today's 700 Club Interactive. Good morning and welcome to 700 Club Interactive. In the immortal words of Alice Cooper, school's out for summer. For many students, that means they can finally stay out late and sleep until Labor Day. But of course, others will be doing something a little bit more productive in the next few months.
We want you to meet Rodney Smith Jr. He's just graduated from Alabama A&M. He started a service mowing lawns for free, and he's helping his community along the way.
One day I saw an elderly man outside cutting grass, and it looked like he was struggling, so it came to me that I should do something. So from then I decided to cut grass free for the elderly, disabled, and single-parent mothers. My goal was to reach 40 lawns by winter, but I reached 40 lawns so quick that I changed my goal to 100. One day we cut this lady's lawn. She's about in her 80s or so, and she had no one to help her, no kids, no grandkids. The city was calling that she needs to get her yard cut, and we came to do her yard, and she just broke down into tears, and that really touched us. I want young men to look up to us. Giving back is cool. It's something that should be done every day, not just one time. It's real cool to give back.
I love this. Rodney's work has garnered the attention of Briggs & Stratton, who donated all new state-of-the-art outdoor equipment. They've even paid off his team's GoFundMe page. As for Rodney, he did just get a degree in computer science last month. Now he wants to return to school to get a master's in social work. I mean, amazing.
Way to go,
Kudos, Rodney. Yes.
Everyone loves these stories, right? They're feel-good stories, and look what's happening in the community. And a lot of times we'll just say, isn't this wonderful?
Yes.
But wouldn't this be a great time to say, look at the happiness and joy this is bringing to people. Maybe there's something I can do in my community to get on board. It should inspire us to do more.
Absolutely. I think it's wonderful that he's moving forward with listening to his heart, really, is what's happening with all of that. Well, we just want to encourage you to do the same in your life. There are opportunities everywhere if we just look for them. And so find out how you can pay it forward as well.
And Terry, that video from the Huffington Post has earned over 15 million hits. Of course, that's just a fraction of the views earned by this one.
That's not me making that noise, it's the mask! Here, listen. Oh, I'm such a happy Chewbacca!
That's right, the Chewbacca mom. So far, she's racked up 155 million views, Terry, and got nearly $500,000 worth of swag. And now, a Christian college in Florida has offered her and her family full tuition to their school. It's interesting.
Who knew it was so easy?
I find it interesting. She's reaping all these benefits of a trend you started. I've seen you out in the car out there in the CBN parking lot, kind of doing a little bit of the same. Isn't it amazing, though, how these videos just, boom, they get out there and people, she's obviously brought people a lot of joy in this.
Unbelievable. It is hilarious. I would kind of like that mask just between you and me. But while that's garnered some controversy, Chewbacca mom says she wants to use her 15 minutes of fame to glorify God. In fact, this is what she said. When I was 16, I had a vision and dream from the Lord about my future being used for His glory. That dream has never left my heart, nor my mind, nor the way that I walk and follow Jesus, nor the way I wear a good mask.
It's interesting because people have actually said that watching her video probably multiple times has gotten them out of depression.
Yeah.
Helped them become free from anxiety.
And that's biblical.
Yes,
a merry heart doeth good like a
Yeah.
medicine. Yeah.
She's certainly a likable lady.
She
And
really
hearing
is.
that laugh
You
is,
got to love her just because she bought the mask, right?
she's quite a gal. We have some good news to report as well. Last year, CBN News brought you the story of a straight-A student who was briefly kicked out of college because his parents homeschooled him during high school. He was eventually reinstated, and now he's a college graduate. Charlene Aaron tells us how we got that far.
When Jacob Berry finished high school in 2012, his next step was a question mark.
I really was unsure for a couple of years about what I wanted to do.
The 22-year-old later applied to West Virginia Junior College in Bridgeport, where he would major in information technology. During the application process, Jacob informed the admissions office that he had been homeschooled. After being accepted, he began taking classes, earning straight A's.
It went smooth and everything was going great.
Then it all changed. After failing to hand over a diploma, school officials pulled Jacob out of class and booted him from the school.
It kind of felt like a freight train hit me at that day, and it was really kind of a feeling, kind of my heart dropped out of my chest, like, what am I going to do now?
His parents, who homeschooled Jacob and his older brother without any problems, were shocked.
I didn't ever expect to come up against something like this. You know, I just assumed other homeschoolers have blazed the trail and taken care of that. And initially, I was taken back a little.
CBN News spoke by phone with college president Sharon Stevens. While she declined our request for an interview, she called what happened with Jacob an unfortunate but innocent mistake. She pointed out that federal funding regulations can be difficult to understand. She sees what happened as a much-needed lesson.
The college president called Jacob Berry and said that he could come back to school. Wow. So it's a great success story, but it shouldn't ever happen.
Jacob's parents agree that the school's president was just misinformed about federal guidelines and hopes the takeaway from Jacob's story reaches beyond their state.
Maybe it will have an effect on other states and other situations that see the unfairness of the situation for Jacob, and it'll have a positive impact for homeschoolers throughout the country.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News, Fairmont, West Virginia.
Keep calm and get your degree. I like that.
Recently, Jacob quoted Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 on his Facebook page. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. And he added, this verse has meant a great deal to me in my walk with the Lord. How blessed we are that we have the ability to seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Certainly a happy ending, Terry, but it makes you wonder, you know, we've seen these reports about homeschooling being in some crisis here. And there's a great example of it.
Well, it's been around for a long time now, like decades, really. And this was surprising. I do think this was just a misinformed scenario because lots and lots of kids have been homeschooled and gone on to college very successfully, actually led their classes in school. So this is really a good thing to see. But, you know, we have covered stories on the 700 Club of families in Europe who are homeschooling where their children have been taken away from them. This is a privilege that we have in America. It's a constitutional right, really, for us. And we need to stand and defend that and live in the grace of it all.
Love his reminder, which seems obvious if we're Christ followers, but seek first the kingdom. Keep that as a priority.
Yeah, boy, I'm sure that was a scary moment for him, though. Well, there's one other viral story that we want to highlight today. It's a letter from a Florida mom of 3 sent to her doctor, and it's been making its way around the internet because that doctor had advised her to abort her daughter. Courtney Baker was pregnant when her daughter was diagnosed with Down syndrome. Baker says the doctor suggested she terminate her pregnancy and continued to do so after she refused. And here's part of the letter. I came to you during the most difficult time in my life. I was terrified, anxious, and in complete despair. This time was made nearly unbearable because you never told me the truth. My child was perfect. My daughter has given us a purpose and a joy that's impossible to express. She's given us bigger smiles, more laughter, and sweeter kisses than we have ever known. She's opened our eyes to true beauty and pure love. My prayer is when you see that next baby with Down syndrome lovingly tucked in her mother's womb, you will look at that mommy and tell her the truth. Your child is perfect. Boy, I have some friends, well, a number of friends actually, who have children that have Down syndrome. And, you know, what you are expressing as the mom of this beautiful little girl is what every one of them says. Their lives have been made better and deeper and more wonderful because of the presence of that child in their lives. So sad that 90% of children who are diagnosed with Down syndrome are aborted. And I think people are frightened by the unknown.
So as a result of seeing that story and that sweet, precious little girl, there will certainly be some moms and dads who will have pain and grief and regret about a decision they have made. And Terry and I certainly encourage you, if you're in that situation where you would have aborted a child, maybe for that reason, that you seek the grace and comfort of a loving, loving God.
Yeah.
Well, Courtney Baker's daughter, Emerson Faith, is now 15 months old. And as for Courtney's letter, she says, I have no idea how the doctor might have reacted to my letter, but I do have faith that God can work any miracle and He can change any heart.
And just to prove that God can work any miracle, we want to show you this beautiful video from CatholicLink.org. Take a look.
You have searched me, Lord, and you know me.
You know when I sit
and when I rise.
You could see my thoughts.
You discern my going out and my lying down.
You are familiar with all my ways.
Before word is on my tongue.
You're created, you must be.
You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you.
I praise you.
I praise you.
I praise you. Because I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Your works are wonderful.
My frame was not hidden from you.
I made a sacred place.
When I was woven together in the depths of the earth.
You eyes on my unseen body.
My eyes were making the things for me.
All the days ordained for me.
Were written in your book.
Before the manifold to be.
How vast are the sum of them.
Were I to count them.
Outnumber the grains of sand.
I am fearfully.
I fearfully.
I am fearfully.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Young Gu Yu had trouble hearing, and he was often made fun of because of it. Thankfully, that all changed after he got a visit from CBN.
Gu Yu always shared his snacks with his classmates, but when he wanted to play, they ran away.
I saw it with my own eyes. They threw stones at my little cousin and called him ugly and dumb. I just want to cry because I love him. He's a good boy.
Gu Yu was bullied because he was deaf and couldn't speak. His mother abandoned him, and his father worked out of town. So Grandma Wong, a Christian, took care of him.
If he wanted to eat rice, he drew a bow and darts. When he fell down, he cried and pointed to his feet. He followed me everywhere because he didn't want to be alone. It was really sad.
The report from the doctor only made them feel worse.
Gui was too old to get his ear fixed, and they were like dead branches. When he recommended hearing aids, I cried because I couldn't afford them.
Gu Yu started leaving class when he couldn't understand his teacher, and some boys were so mean they urinated on him.
It broke my heart. He just pointed to his wet clothes. Everything was so hard that I felt like God was nowhere to be found. Plus, I worried that Gui Yu would be alone in the future and not be able to protect himself.
Just when Grandma Wong had almost given up on God, a friend told her about CBN. We gave Gu Yu hearing aids and provided speech therapy.
His personality is so different now, and his classmates don't bully him. I love spending time with Gui Yu. I never saw him laugh before.
He's not afraid anymore. He says, Grandma, you go ahead. I'm fine on my own. I think this was all God's arrangement. He sent you to help us. May He bless you and His peace be with you always.
I think this was all God's arrangement too. It's God's plan and purpose for us that those of us who have been blessed and have been given much will turn around and speak into the lives of those who have not. That is what 700 Club members do all around the world every day of the week. That's why we want to invite you to join with the rest of us. There are thousands of us who are out to make a difference with the love of Christ and in very practical ways. This little boy would have had no hope and no future. And then, if you're a 700 Club member, you stepped right into the middle of his need. You answered the prayers of his grandmother. You gave him hope and the future, the opportunity to communicate, really to be healed in a sense. And we say thank you. If you're not a 700 Club member, what does that look like? Well, it's 65 cents a day, $20 a month, and you join with the rest of us, and every day you have the satisfaction of knowing you are making a difference. How do you do all of this? You call our toll-free number. There it is on your screen, 1-888-777-1999. You just say, I want to join the 700 Club. We've got several club levels that you can join at, but we encourage you to call right now. I think it's so significant in our obedience to Christ that when we see someone in need, we say, I want to be a part of making a difference in that person's life. Do it now. Go to your phone and call. Andrew?
Thank you, Terry. Well, coming up, men, take note, because there are 4 words that you need to become a better person and husband. We're going to explain right after this. Stay with us. So Father's Day is right around the corner, and while many of us are probably telling our wives and kids that we just want a couple of hours of peace and quiet, author A.R. Bernard says men truly need 4 other things. And here's the kicker. It's something women need from men as well.
A.R. Bernard founded New York's Christian Cultural Center. Today, his church has over 37,000 members. This influential pastor has spent decades teaching and counseling couples. He's witnessed relationships in every stage of life. In his book, 4 Things Women Want from a Man, Pastor Bernard shares what he's learned and helps men and women discover what it takes to have a healthy, lasting relationship.
Well, A.R. Bernard is here with us now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andrew. Good to be with you.
My 10-year-old son saw me reading the book, and he said, what's that? I said, 4 things women want from a man. He said, is smelling good on the list anywhere? But I didn't see it in here. What are the 4 things? And let me ask you first, if I may.
Sure.
There could be some women out there who think, what does this gentleman really know about what a woman wants? How do you answer that?
And the audacity to tell women that these are the 4 things they want. Well, I will tell you, I've been married for 44 years to the same woman, by the way, it's not an aggregate, and 38 years of ministry. And I had the fortune and blessing of spending time under a mentor by the name of Edwin Lewis Cole, who was considered to be the founder of the men's movement here in the United States. For 18 years, we traveled together and we spoke to audiences. So you learn a few things along the way. But the most important thing is, the number one complaint that women have about men is that men don't listen. So when I finished the manuscript and I gave it to my wife, she read it, she smiled, looked at me and said, you've been listening. So that's, I think, a degree of credentials.
Before we drill down into each of the 4 individually, give us the collective 4. What are they?
Maturity, decisiveness, consistency, and strength. And I will tell you, this is kind of a back door, because women don't know what they want, but they do know what they don't want. They don't want a man that's immature, indecisive, inconsistent, or weak. So that's how I came about it.
Is one more important than the other out of these 4?
Maturity is foundational, because the other 3 actually build on the foundation of maturity. I cannot tell you, Andrew, how many women, because I've interviewed many, many women for the book as well, I cannot tell you how many women have said to me, I just wish he would grow up. And, you know, what do they mean by that?
Well, do we have to be serious now all the time?
Well, that's important, because you're doing exactly what men do. Wonder, well, what does she mean by that? And then they interpret it.
How do I have to change?
And often the woman doesn't have the words, the language to articulate it. Women are intuitive, but language is not. Language is given. Language is learned. So this gives them the language. And what they merely mean when they say grow up is two things. Number one, responsibility, and number two, decorum. Responsibility. She wants him to take responsibility for his words, his thoughts, his motives, and his actions. She wants decorum. She wants him to be aware of and know when and how to conduct himself in any given circumstance or situation. Often when men are intimidated by a circumstance or situation, they regress into adolescence. And then they force the woman to become his mother. And then he gets mad because she's mothering him. And the cycle continues.
How about decisiveness? I think that's a lot of men may struggle with that one particularly.
Yeah, and again, we have to talk about the double standard because it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. But a man is expected to be decisive. Decisiveness means the ability to make decisions quickly and confidently. And in order to do that, you have to have a set of values and principles that guide your decision-making process and essentially guide your life.
Okay, so not bossy.
No,
there's a difference between the two.
There's a difference. Decisive means, again, I've got a set of values. What's most important to me? What do I stand for? What am I willing to pay the price for? What am I willing to die for? Those are my values. And principles are broad and basic truths that require wisdom, judgment, and discernment.
And then, of course, you say it's important to be consistent.
Yes. Women need safety and security in a relationship.
I was surprised safety and security weren't on the list, so to speak, but I guess that's encompassed underneath.
Yeah, those four summarize what women want, but there are subsets under each of the four elements. And consistency is where a man's values and actions are congruent. See, when he does what he says and does what he believes, the woman finds safety and security in that relationship.
Strength.
And we're not talking about this macho thing.
But maybe we used to talk about that, right? I mean, things have changed a little bit.
Well, yeah, but we misunderstood it because a man usually takes on a very aggressive attitude and posture in a relationship with a woman when he himself is insecure. And he does this thing to secure himself in the relationship. But strength really is the courage to live out your convictions, regardless of any pressure externally that may come to you. This is what I stand for. This is who I am, and this is how I'll live it out. Also, strength affords the man the ability to be gentle and to be kind, because when you're strong, you can be gentle.
If I can just depart a little bit, in all your counseling over the years, I mean, you've counseled a lot of couples struggling. Are there some things that continually are churned up, that the problems you see just over and over again in a marriage?
I will tell you the answer is yes. Communication. That's a big, big problem because, as I said, women complain that men don't listen. Communication is not in your ability to speak, it's in your ability to listen. And listening is an art. And it should involve all of you, your eyes, your attention, your body posture, all of that. And women are intuitive. They know right away when a man is not listening.
And I guess some of it comes down to that basic thing of a man feels like when his wife is expressing herself, what she's dealing with, struggling with the problem, he wants to solve it, right? Here's what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3. And maybe she's not looking for that.
And he collects just enough data to bring his solution. And that's a scenario.
So is that part of the not listening? Maybe the man says, I got it. I hear you. Here's what we're going to do. But
let me give you a scenario, okay? So the woman comes, because women deal with things by collaboration. So it's about sharing information. So a woman comes to her husband and she says, I want to share something with you. This is a problem I'm dealing with. And she starts to talk. He's listening, but he's gathering just enough data so that he can come up with a brilliant solution that he'll offer her. So when he thinks he's got enough data, he stops and he interrupts her and he gives her his answer. Now she politely stops and she listens. And then she picks up right where she left off and keeps talking. But he is now shocked because she's rejecting his brilliant solution. And then he begins to withdraw himself, wondering why. And then she picks his withdrawal up and she says, that's why I don't like to talk to you, because you don't listen.
And it continues and continues.
Yes.
And then husband and wife come into the next experience where that's going to happen with these expectations of what will occur because last time this time.
Yeah, men and women are different. not just physically, but psychologically, socially, emotionally, intellectually. You know, men deal with things differently than women deal with things. Men deal with things through strength, cunning, and performance. Women deal with things through intuition, experience, common sense, and collaboration.
Love the book. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
The book is called 4 Things Women Want from a Man. The author is Pastor A.R. Bernard. You can get a copy in stores nationwide. We leave you with these words from the book of John. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. And if you need prayer in your life, we encourage you to give us a call, 888-777-1999. There's always someone here to pray with you. It's been great having you with us today. I'm Andrew Knox. We'll see you next time on 700 Club Interactive. Bye-bye.